Let's get right into it. Number 8. Railway platform gaps, mind the death trap. You've heard the phrase, mind the gap. Sounds cute, right? Like a polite reminder from a British announcer. But originally, it was less friendly suggestion and more, please don't fall into the train pit of doom. Back in the early 1900s, train platforms weren't standardized. Some were higher, some were lower, and the space between the platform and train door could be several inches wide. Guess what happens when you mix that with crowds, rushing passengers, and long skirts? Yeah, people fell in. It was a serious problem. Legs broken, ankles twisted, entire people getting dragged under carriages. The phrase mind the gap was introduced by the London Underground in 1969, not as a slogan, but as a desperate warning. The recorded voice became iconic because too many people weren't paying attention and ended up partially under the 745 to Paddington. Modern trains have sensors, adjustable platform edges, and warning lights, but the phrase stuck. So next time you roll your eyes at the robotic voice telling you to mind the gap, remember it's literally saying, hey, don't die horribly because you were texting. Number 7. The gas oven that wouldn't kill you. Once upon a time, cooking dinner and accidentally gassing your entire family were closer activities than you'd think. Early gas stoves were amazing for chefs but terrible for survival. The gas lines leaked, the flames sputtered, and carbon monoxide filled kitchens faster than you could say bon appetit. Before automatic shutoff valves, a single blown-out pilot light could turn your house into a chemical weapon. People died in their sleep, during breakfast, or mid-soup. Gas companies called it user error. Scientists called it completely predictable homicide by poor engineering. It wasn't until the 19th, 20th, and 30s that safety features like thermocouples and fail-safe valves started rolling out. These gadgets detect if a flame goes out and shut off the gas automatically. Simple, brilliant, and about 50 years too late for thousands of victims. The funny part? Gas companies fought these safety upgrades. At first they didn't want to admit their product was killing people. Classic PR move. Now, every time your stove politely clicks off instead of asphyxiating you, you can thank a century of public outrage and some very determined safety engineers. So, the next time your gas oven refuses to light and you're annoyed, remember, that's not malfunctioning. That's it doing its job so you don't become a true crime episode titled, The Case of the Dinner That Fought Back. Number 6. The playground that tried to kill you. Ah, playgrounds, the happy land of childhood joy and blunt force trauma. If you grew up before the 1990s, you probably remember the death traps we used to call fun, rusty metal slides that doubled as stovetops in summer. Monkey bars so high you could legally qualify for skydiving insurance, and those spinning merry-go-rounds that turned every kid into a physics experiment. Kids got concussions, broken arms, and occasionally flung into orbit, and the adults called it building character. Then came the lawsuits. Cities started realizing that maybe letting 5-year-olds climb 30 feet in the air on unpadded concrete wasn't ideal. Studies in the 70s and 80s linked these adventure playgrounds to thousands of ER visits every year. So began the era of rounded edges, rubber flooring, and height limits. The safe playground was born soft, colorful, and kinda boring. But make no mistake, every cushioned landing pad is there because some poor kid didn't land quite right. Today's playgrounds are basically mini fortresses of liability-proof design. It's progress, but also a little sad. We traded in third-degree burns for mild disappointment. Still, next time you watch a toddler tumble safely onto padded flooring, maybe whisper a quiet thank you to the generations who fell before them literally. Number 5. The Titanic that refused to sink, eventually. You know the story, giant unsinkable ship, hits iceberg, becomes very sinkable. The RMS Titanic wasn't just a maritime disaster, it was a full-blown safety revolution wrapped in hubris and frozen seawater. When it sank in 1912, over 1,500 people died, and not just because of the iceberg. The real killer? A total lack of safety planning. The ship carried lifeboats for about half the passengers because the designers thought too many lifeboats would clutter the deck. Yeah, heaven forbid aesthetics ruin the drowning experience. Also, there were no proper evacuation drills, no public address system, and the bulkheads, those unsinkable compartments, didn't go all the way up. It was like trying to keep water out of a cup with tiny walls and a lot of optimism. After the disaster, international outrage finally birthed something useful. The SOLAS Convention, Safety of Life at Sea. It made lifeboats mandatory, standardized emergency drills, required 24-hour radio operators, and completely overhauled ship design. Basically, every modern cruise ship owes its safety to a 46,000-ton cautionary tale. Those lifeboat drills you ignore while holding your piña colada? Yeah, those exist because the Titanic didn't have enough boats for the orchestra, let alone the guests. It's darkly poetic that the world's most luxurious ship had to drown so that your modern floating buffet can make it safely to the Bahamas. Number 4. The seat in front of you that might save your life. Ever notice how every car seat now has a headrest? Not just for comfort, it's literally a neck-saving device born out of whiplash horror. Before the 1960s, rear-end collisions often turned your neck into a mechanical slinky. Drivers would get what doctors politely called cervical acceleration-deceleration injuries, which is medical code for ouch forever. The problem was, car seats used to end mid-back, meaning your head had nowhere to go except backward at 30 miles an hour. So, after enough lawsuits, safety researchers developed the head restraint, first optional, then mandatory. By the 1980s, every car had one, and whiplash injuries dropped dramatically. But it didn't stop there. Engineers realized they could use that same space for something else. The seatback crash zone. It's designed to flex and absorb energy so the passenger behind you doesn't eat your spine during a rear impact. So yes, even the annoying seat in front of you that reclines 2 inches during your flight has been scientifically engineered for your survival. And fun fact, the metal rods on car headrests are actually designed to break glass. In an emergency, you can pull it out and use it to smash a window. The same thing that props up your head can also bust you out of a sinking car. Basically, that boring car seat is a transformer part pillow, part emergency tool, part neck-saving miracle. Number 3. The roller coaster of doom. You know that feeling right before a roller coaster drops, that little moment when your brain whispers, "You shouldn't be here." Turns out, that instinct used to be completely valid. Early roller coasters were mechanical chaos held together by wood, gravity, and blind faith. Safety bars were optional. Restraints? If you were lucky, you got a rope. People flew out of their seats regularly. One of the worst incidents happened in 1910 at the Dip the Dips coaster in New York, when a car derailed and tossed passengers into the midway. That plus a dozen similar horror shows led to the invention of locking lap bars, safety restraints, and redundant braking systems. Then, as coasters got faster and loopier, so did the safety engineering. Modern rides now use magnetic brakes, over-the-shoulder harnesses, and computers that monitor every bolt in real time. The redundancy is insane. If one sensor blinks, the entire system shuts down. The irony? Every thrilling safety check you see at the start of a ride, the shoulder taps, the double seat clicks, all exist because someone once didn't check. So, next time you're upside down at 70 miles per hour and trying not to scream, remember, those safety features were written in blood. Human innovation, brought to you by gravity and bad decisions. Number 2. The electric chair's accidental legacy. Here's a twisted one. The electric chair didn't just change executions, it accidentally made household wiring safer. When electricity first became mainstream in the late 1800s, cities were in a current war. Thomas Edison wanted direct current, DC. Nikola Tesla and George Westinghouse pushed alternating current, AC. Edison, desperate to win, publicly electrocuted animals to prove how dangerous AC was. Then he helped create the first electric chair using AC, hoping people would associate it with death. Spoiler, it didn't work. AC became the global standard anyway, but those early executions exposed how little anyone understood about electrical safety. The wiring systems of the time were basically fire hazards waiting to happen. After a few gruesome demonstrations and accidental electrocutions, engineers started designing safer circuits, insulation, and grounding systems. Over time, the very technology once used to kill people became the foundation for safe household electricity, complete with breakers, fuses, and grounded outlets. So yeah, the next time you plug in your toaster and don't get vaporized, thank the macabre PR stunt that accidentally taught humanity how to not fry itself. Number 1. The hotel fire that invented fire exits. Picture this. It's 1903. You're staying at a fancy Chicago theater called the Iroquois. The lights dim, the music swells, and then whoosh, the entire stage curtain catches fire. Within minutes, the whole building is an inferno. Over 600 people die because the fireproof theater had no exit plan, no alarms, and the doors? Yeah, they opened inward, which meant the moment panic hit, everyone pushed against doors that literally couldn't open. Human stampede plus old-timey architecture equals medieval tragedy. After that disaster, the world collectively went, okay, maybe. Doors should open the other way. The modern fire exit outward swinging doors, illuminated signs, panic bars all came directly from this and a few other equally horrific blazes. And here's the dark punchline. The same pattern kept repeating. Triangle Shirtwaist Factory, 1911 hundreds of young women burned alive because the boss locked the exits. Coconut Grove nightclub, 1942 over 490 dead, many trapped behind revolving doors that jammed. Now, every time you see that glowing green exit sign humming above a doorway, it's not just there for vibe lighting. It's a quiet memorial to everyone who didn't make it out because some architect thought aesthetics were more important than airflow and open doors. So yeah, next time you nonchalantly stroll through a fire drill, maybe thank the ghosts who literally invented building safety codes for you. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.